All right, get ready because today we're taking a deep dive into psycho-cybernetics.
Oh, this is going to be fascinating.
It really is. You guys sent us some amazing excerpts from Maxwell Maltz's audiobook, and
His ideas are so powerful.
exactly, we're going to unpack them, really get into the nitty-gritty of how our self-image shapes our lives.
And how to use it to our advantage.
Exactly. Now, I think a lot of people might hear plastic surgeon and think, what does that have to do with the mind?
Right. You don't usually put those two things together.
You don't. But that's what makes Malta's story so fascinating. I mean, his background as a plastic surgeon gave him this...
Yeah, really unique perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, he was literally reshaping people's faces.
Day in and day out.
Day in and day out. But what really caught his attention...
Yeah, what fascinated him?
were the psychological transformations.
The changes on the inside?
That happened afterward. You know, he talks about this case of a young boy, really shy, had prominent ears.
I can imagine how that would affect a kid.
And after surgery,
What happened?
confident, outgoing,
Wow, like a different person?
totally different. And then there was this struggling salesman, had a facial disfigurement,
Oh, that must have been tough for him.
and after it was corrected,
Business just took off.
success, just like that. He even had this patient, a hardened criminal, completely turned his life around in prison after surgery.
You know, it makes you think about how much our appearance can impact
It's incredible, right? I mean, these cases, they really highlight the power of...
perception, how we see ourselves and how others see us.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. They also bring up this really important question. Why didn't surgery work for everyone?
Right, because it wasn't a magic bullet.
It wasn't. And that's the mystery that led Maltz to develop his concept of the self-image.
It's all about that internal picture we have of ourselves.
It really is. And he tells the story about a woman he called the Duchess.
Oh, I remember that one.
Painfully self-conscious about this bump on her nose.
I can relate to that.
She gets the perfect nose, still just as shy.
Wow, so the surgery changed her face, but
But not how she felt about herself.
that's so powerful.
It really is. That's when Maltz realized true transformation,
It goes way deeper.
deeper than just the surface. He saw the self-image as this...
Yeah, like a mental blueprint.
That's a great way to put it, this internal guidance system that shapes our behavior and influences.
Influences our success or failure.
In every area of life, not just our looks.
Exactly, it touches everything.
It's about the beliefs we hold about ourselves, our abilities, our worthiness.
Our whole sense of self.
And Maltz believed if that self-image is negative or distorted,
Positive changes are just not going to stick.
it's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation.
Makes sense.
It's like people who get plastic surgery,
right.
but they still feel ugly because their self-image hasn't changed.
They're trapped in that old picture of themselves.
They are. So the question is, how do we break free from these limitations?
How do we rewrite that blueprint?
Exactly. And this is where Maltz brings in the principles of cybernetics.
No, that's interesting.
It is. It's the study of control systems.
Like how things work and are regulated.
Exactly. And he saw the brain as a goal-seeking machine.
Always trying to achieve whatever we set for it.
And the key to programming this machine, imagination.
So we're talking more than just daydreaming here.
Way more. It's about this focused, purposeful imagination.
Imagination that can actually shape reality.
That's the power Maltz is talking about. Think about Walt Disney.
His attention to detail was incredible.
Creating those theme parks. Or Howard Schultz with Starbucks.
Taking that Italian espresso bar experience.
And bringing it to life. These weren't just vague ideas.
No, they had a crystal clear vision.
Detailed mental pictures that fueled their success.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And you know, on the flip side, Maltz talks about this tragic case of a student who committed suicide.
Oh, because of an imagined flaw.
It's a stark reminder of the power.
The power of our thoughts.
For good or for bad. And that brings us to this concept of self-hypnosis. I know, right? Maltz believed that our negative self-talk,
Those limiting beliefs we repeat over and over.
they're essentially hypnotizing us into failure.
We're putting ourselves under a spell.
In a way, we are. We accept those negative suggestions from others, from our own inner critic.
And they become this ingrained part of our self-image.
But the good news is,
We can break free.
we can. Just like a hypnotist can dehypnotize someone.
We can challenge and change those beliefs.
And Maltz tells this amazing story about a weightlifter who, under hypnosis,
He's told he can't lift a pencil.
and he couldn't.
No way. His belief actually overrode his physical strength.
It's a perfect example of how our beliefs shape our reality.
Powerful stuff.
So if we want to unlock our true potential, where do we start?
Big question.
Huge question. Well, Maltz, he actually provides a roadmap.
A set of practical steps.
Exactly. He emphasizes relaxation techniques, calming the mind.
Creating that space for change.
Exactly. And he talks about the power of rational thinking.
Using logic and evidence to examine those beliefs.
To reject the ones that aren't serving us.
And what else?
And he encourages us to focus on success, not failure.
Remembering our wins, big or small.
Visualizing those future achievements.
Programming our minds for positive outcomes.
That's the key. And he even outlines these key characteristics of what he calls a success-type personality.
6 essential traits for a fulfilling life.
Sounds like a pretty good recipe. Now, it's more than just a list of buzzwords. He uses real-life examples.
To illustrate each trait, bring them to life.
Exactly. It's not just about be more confident, it's about understanding.
The mechanics of self-confidence, how to actually cultivate it.
Like he tells the story of this salesman who cured his self-consciousness.
How do you do that?
By pretending he was eating with Ma and Pa.
Just a simple shift in perspective.
And it unlocked his confidence.
I love that.
Right. But there's a flip side. Maltz also explores this failure mechanism.
The ways those negative thoughts and emotions.
Create this self-fulfilling prophecy.
So failure.
Exactly. He breaks it down into 5 key elements.
Frustration, aggressiveness, insecurity, loneliness, and guilt.
And he connects each element to real-life examples.
Showing how they can manifest, hold us back.
But he doesn't just describe the problem.
No, he offers solutions.
He does, like the importance of forgiveness.
Healing those wounds, moving forward.
And he challenges that idea that forgiveness is weakness.
Instead, framing it as an act of liberation.
Freeing ourselves from the pain of the past.
So we can create a better future.
Exactly. And one of the most fascinating parts
What's that?
is his perspective on crisis. He challenges us to reframe challenges, setbacks,
Not as defeats.
but as opportunities.
Opportunities for growth and learning.
That's powerful.
It is.
He reminds us that even the toughest experiences are temporary.
And by focusing on those lessons,
We build resilience.
emerge stronger.
He even talks about developing this nostalgia for the future,
I love that phrase.
choosing to look ahead with excitement.
Instead of dwelling on the past.
Right. And he gives these inspiring examples.
People overcoming incredible odds.
Like Selah Quinn, born with a severe cleft lip and palate,
Oh, that must have been incredibly difficult for her.
pain and social isolation.
But she didn't let it stop her.
No, she didn't. Multiple surgeries, worked her way through college,
And then,
became a successful stockbroker, investment advisor.
what a story of resilience.
The human spirit's ability to triumph.
It's inspiring.
And then there's this story about the professor's F,
That title always grabs my attention.
a student failing out of college, contemplating suicide.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
He stumbles upon Maltz's book,
And what happens?
Cybernetics, gave him a new perspective,
A new hope.
and he turned his life around.
Wow.
It's proof that Maltz's ideas,
They're not just theories.
they create real change
It's about recognizing the power of our minds.
to shape our experiences,
To create the life we want.
to unlock our full potential.
That's the key.
Okay, so we've got that first S covered. Sense of direction. What about the U?
The U stands for understanding. And you know, this goes way beyond book smarts.
Deeper than just facts and figures. It's about communication.
Of ourselves.
With ourselves, absolutely. And with others.
So, understanding our own strengths and weaknesses.
Being able to really connect with other people.
That makes sense.
It's crucial for personal growth and for strong relationships.
So we've got direction, understanding. What's that first C all about?
Courage. And Maltz is very clear about this. Courage often means,
Facing our fears,
he defines it as the willingness to step outside that comfort zone,
even when it feels uncomfortable.
especially when it's scary.
But he acknowledges that fear is natural.
It's part of being human.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's about acting in spite of that fear.
Not letting it hold us back.
It's not about being fearless. It's about understanding.
Courage is often the key to unlocking our potential.
He uses a great example.
What's that?
People terrified of public speaking.
Oh, I know plenty of those.
By repeatedly facing that fear, giving those speeches even when their heart is pounding, they can overcome that anxiety.
Become confident speakers.
It's like anything else, the more you
The
practice,
stronger you become.
you build that courage muscle.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got courage. What about the second C?
Charity.
Okay, I know what you're thinking.
What does that have to do with success?
Right. But Maltz uses charity in a broader sense.
He's talking about kindness, compassion, genuine concern for others.
It's about going beyond ourselves.
And
Yeah.
He argues that these qualities, they benefit everyone.
Not just the people around us.
They also have a positive impact on our own well-being,
It's like creating this positive cycle.
recognizing that our own happiness is connected to the happiness of others.
Okay, so we're almost there. What about the second S?
Self-confidence. Maltz believes it's absolutely essential,
For achieving our goals, for living a fulfilling life.
but he doesn't think we're born with it.
So it's not some innate quality,
He sees it as a skill
something we develop through experience.
through practice.
So we can actually build self-confidence.
We can. He suggests focusing on our past successes
Even the small ones.
to build that sense of competence.
To believe in ourselves.
He also talks about the power of acting as if
So even if we don't feel confident,
we pretend we do.
fake it till you make it.
In a way, yes. Because by changing our behavior,
We can influence our beliefs.
it's a powerful feedback loop.
Okay, 5 down, 1 to go. What's that final S?
Sincerity. And this is more than just being honest.
It's about authenticity.
Being true to ourselves and our values.
Aligning our actions with our beliefs.
Exactly. Maltz argues that when we're living in alignment,
We radiate a genuine confidence.
it attracts others, creates a foundation for success.
So to recap, sense of direction, understanding, courage, charity, self-confidence, and sincerity.
That's the success formula.
But let's be real, life isn't always about success.
We all face setbacks.
Challenges, even failures.
That's where Maltz's exploration of the failure mechanism comes in.
Those 5 elements that can sabotage our success.
And it's important to understand them,
Not to dwell on negativity,
but to recognize and address them.
so we can break free.
Let's unpack those elements, starting with frustration.
That feeling we get when we're blocked from achieving a goal.
It can eat away at our motivation.
Our self-esteem.
Maltz says chronically frustrated people often have unrealistic expectations,
Or a negative self-image.
setting themselves up for failure.
He talks about practical goals versus perfectionistic goals.
Striving for perfection can actually be counterproductive.
You set the bar so high.
You're almost guaranteed to fall short.
So it's about finding that balance.
Ambition and realism,
Celebrating progress along the way.
not beating ourselves up for not being perfect.
So it's not about lowering our standards.
It's about setting ourselves up for success.
Achievable goals.
That's the key.
Okay, frustration. What about aggressiveness?
Often stems from that unresolved frustration.
When we feel blocked, unable to achieve our goals.
We might lash out.
At others, at ourselves.
It's like that child throwing a tantrum.
When they don't get what they want.
It's natural, but we need healthier ways of coping.
So how do we do that?
Maltz suggests channeling that energy in a more constructive direction.
Instead of lashing out.
Use that frustration as fuel.
To overcome obstacles.
Achieve our goals.
Okay, frustration, aggressiveness. What about insecurity?
That lack of self-confidence can be so limiting.
It can manifest in different ways.
Shy and withdrawn.
Or overcompensating, constantly trying to prove themselves.
Either way, it holds us back
Keeps us from taking risks.
from putting ourselves out there.
So how do we overcome insecurity?
Maltz says, build a strong self-image.
Recognize our strengths.
Focus on our successes
Instead of dwelling on those failures.
and the power of positive self-talk.
Instead of putting ourselves down.
We choose to affirm our worth.
To recognize that we're all imperfect.
But those imperfections don't define us.
Okay, what about loneliness?
That sense of isolation, feeling disconnected,
It can come from a fear of intimacy.
a reluctance to let others in,
We build those walls to protect ourselves.
but they end up isolating us.
So how do we break down those walls?
Maltz suggests cultivating genuine connections,
Building relationships based on trust.
on vulnerability.
Recognizing that we're social creatures.
We thrive when we feel connected
So letting go of that fear, opening ourselves up.
to the possibility of connection.
Okay, that's 4. What about the last element of the failure mechanism?
Yelt.
That feeling of remorse, self-reproach.
For things we've done, things we haven't done.
It can be so paralyzing.
It keeps us stuck in the past.
So how do we move forward?
Maltz says practice self-forgiveness,
Not condoning our mistakes.
but accepting responsibility, learning from them.
Letting go of those negative emotions. It's recognizing that we're human.
We all make mistakes.
Holding on to that guilt only keeps us trapped.
He also talks about forgiveness of others.
It's not about weakness.
It's about freeing ourselves from that burden of the past,
It's like a scalpel, he says, removing that emotional scar tissue.
allowing us to move forward.
And this brings us to another key concept.
The winning feeling.
training ourselves to feel successful.
Tap into those emotions that drive peak performance.
It's not just about achieving success.
It's about cultivating that inner experience.
So how do we do that?
He suggests using our imagination.
To play back those past successes.
Relive those moments of triumph.
It's like creating a highlight reel.
Of our best moments.
To access whenever we need a boost.
He also talks about setting goals that inspire us.
Goals that align with our values, our passions.
When we're working towards something that truly matters.
We tap into that winning feeling.
And taking action, even small steps.
Build that momentum.
Reinforce our belief that we can succeed.
It's all about mindset.
Our mindset plays a huge role.
Cultivating that positive attitude.
Focusing on our strength.
Reprogramming our minds for success.
And resilience.
Bouncing back from those setbacks.
Viewing them as opportunities for growth.
He even suggests that nostalgia for the future.
Choosing to look ahead with excitement.
Not dwelling on the past. And Maltz, he shares some amazing stories about people who've done just that.
Overcoming incredible adversity.
Like Selah Quinn, remember her story?
Born with a severe cleft lip and palate.
Facing those immense challenges.
And she persevered, achieved remarkable success.
It shows that his ideas aren't just theories.
They have the power to transform lives.
It's not just about overcoming external challenges.
It's about overcoming those inner obstacles.
Those limiting beliefs, that negative self-talk.
And that's where Maltz's exploration of the subconscious mind comes in.
This vast reservoir of creativity.
Intuition, wisdom.
But we need to know how to access it.
To tap into its guidance.
So how do we do that?
Maltz suggests relaxation, visualization, affirmations.
Techniques to quiet the mind.
To create space for those insights to emerge.
And this leads us to happiness.
That feeling of joy and fulfillment.
Maltz doesn't see happiness as something that just happens to us.
It's a choice.
A state of mind we cultivate.
Through our thoughts, beliefs, actions.
Gratitude. Good. Appreciating the simple pleasures.
Cultivating gratitude for the blessings we often take for granted.
Happiness isn't a destination.
It's a journey.
Embracing the ups and downs.
With a positive outlook.
And a grateful heart.
Speaking of creating the life we want,
Maltz also talks about personal responsibility.
We're not victims of our circumstances.
We're creators of our own reality.
We have the power to choose.
Our thoughts, beliefs, actions.
And those choices shape our lives.
He doesn't deny challenges, setbacks.
But he encourages us to see them as opportunities.
For growth and learning.
We all have that incredible capacity for resilience.
For bouncing back, emerging stronger.
And self-acceptance.
Recognizing our worth.
Regardless of our flaws or mistakes.
Embracing our imperfections.
It's what makes us unique.
Be proactive in creating the life we want.
Not passively waiting.
Maltz's work is full of practical advice.
Actionable steps.
Techniques for changing our self-image, overcoming habits, building confidence.
Achieving our goals.
But it takes practice.
Persistence.
Change takes time and effort.
We shouldn't get discouraged.
It's a lifelong journey.
A process of continuous learning.
And that's what I appreciate about his work.
It's not about quick fixes.
It's about understanding the principles.
And applying them consistently.
And he uses real-life examples.
Of people from all walks of life.
Who have used these ideas to transform their lives.
Makes it feel real and attainable.
He emphasizes action.
Knowledge is only valuable if we use it.
Experiment, see what works.
Personal growth is an ongoing process.
A journey of discovery.
And that brings us to the mind-body connection.
Our thoughts and beliefs can have a profound impact
on our physical health.
Think about the placebo effect.
People experience real changes
just because they believe
that they're receiving a treatment.
And the work of Dr. Hans Selye,
a pioneer in stress research.
He found that prolonged stress,
it weakens our immune system,
makes us more susceptible to illness.
Maltz argues that by managing our stress,
cultivating a positive attitude,
believing in our body's healing abilities,
we create a more supportive environment
for health and well-being.
It's about self-care,
taking care of our physical bodies,
exercise, nutrition, rest.
When we care for ourselves physically,
we support our mental and emotional well-being.
It's all interconnected.
Minds and bodies working together,
creating a more vibrant life.
And this leads to another fascinating concept.
We're all connected.
To a universal source of creativity and intelligence.
It's like we're part of a larger web.
A network of consciousness.
People who have received inspiration.
insights from a source beyond themselves,
Tapping into that collective wellspring.
we can cultivate a sense of openness
Receptivity
to
to
this universal source,
believing that we're capable of accessing.
wisdom and guidance that's greater than our own minds.
And we can strengthen that connection.
Through practices like meditation,
Prayer, spending time in nature.
recognizing that we're not alone,
We're all part of nothing larger,
we have access to support.
if we're open to it.
And that brings us to one of the most empowering aspects.
The miracle of self-healing,
Our bodies are incredibly resilient.
with an innate capacity for healing.
Stories of people overcoming serious illnesses,
Injuries.
demonstrating that our minds play a powerful role.
In our physical well-being,
View our bodies as allies.
not adversaries.
We have more control than we realize.
That's the beauty of psycho-cybernetics.
It's not just about achieving success.
It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Aligning our lives with our values, passions, desires.
Recognizing the power we have to create the reality we want.
It's a powerful message.
It resonates deeply.
So as we move into the final part,
What's resonating most with you?
what takeaways are you finding insightful?
What about your own self-image?
What beliefs might be holding you back?
Or what strength are you ready to embrace?
You know, we've been on quite a journey exploring these ideas, these concepts,
It's been a deep dive for sure.
really deep. We've talked about the success-type personality,
The failure mechanism.
that incredible power of the subconscious mind.
And even how to cultivate happiness.
It's like we've been mapping out this territory of the self, you know?
Understanding how it all works.
Exactly, so we can navigate it better.
Hmm.
As you've been reflecting on these ideas,
What's standing out to you?
you know, for me, one thing that just keeps coming back
Yeah.
is that emphasis on the self-image.
Right, how powerful it is.
It really is. It shapes our reality.
It's like this self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
If we believe we're capable, we're more likely to achieve it.
But if we're trapped in that negative self-image,
It can sabotage us.
even if we're working hard,
It's like it acts as this filter,
coloring how we see the world.
influencing our choices.
And the amazing thing is, Malt says it's not fixed.
We can change it,
Reshape it, reprogram it.
create a more empowering self-image.
That's where those practical techniques come in.
Right, the relaxation, visualization,
Affirmations, even rational thinking,
tools to challenge those limiting beliefs.
and cultivate a more positive self-image.
It's not about denying reality
No, not at all.
or pretending everything's perfect
It's about recognizing that we have a choice
in how we see ourselves.
and how we see the world,
we can focus on our strengths, our successes.
or get bogged down by our weaknesses, our failures,
It's like we have this incredible power within us.
to choose our thoughts, our beliefs.
Ultimately, the direction of our lives.
But it takes conscious effort,
Consistent practice.
a willingness to challenge those old patterns.
It's a journey, for sure.
He even compares it to physical therapy,
Oh, I like that.
exercising our mental muscle.
To become stronger, more resilient.
And speaking of resilience,
Those stories, the people who overcame incredible adversity,
the Seloquin's journey
it's a testament to the power of the human spirit.
to overcome those challenges.
A reminder that we're all capable of more than we realize.
You have the strength, the courage, the resilience,
But it takes a shifting perspective,
a willingness to challenge those beliefs.
a commitment to tapping into our inner resources.
And that's where the subconscious mind comes in.
That vast reservoir of creativity, intuition,
It's always available to us
but we need to access it.
to tap into his wisdom.
So how do we do that?
Maltz suggests relaxation, visualization, affirmations
Creating that quiet space.
for those insights to emerge.
It's not about forcing change,
It's about creating the conditions,
planting the seeds,
nurturing them
trusting that they'll blossom.
into something beautiful and powerful.
And this leads to happiness.
How do we cultivate a life that's truly fulfilling?
Malt says happiness isn't something that just happens.
It's a choice
A state of mind we cultivate.
through our thoughts, beliefs, actions.
Gratitude, mindfulness, positive relationships.
Key ingredients.
Focus on the good, appreciate the simple things.
Be grateful for what we have.
Happiness is a journey, not a destination.
It's about embracing the ups and downs
With a positive outlook.
and a grateful heart.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive,
What seeds of change are you ready to plant?
what limiting beliefs are you ready to release?
What strengths do you want to cultivate
And what steps can you take today, even small ones?
to move towards those dreams?
Remember, that journey of 1,000 miles.
Begins with a single step.
And Psycho-Cybernetics,
Offers a powerful map
a map to guide us on that journey.
to a life of purpose, joy and fulfillment.
It's been an incredible journey exploring these ideas with you.
I've learned so much.
Me too. And I hope our listeners have found it insightful and inspiring.
I hope so too.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And remember, the power to create the life you want.
It lies within you.